I'll be providing a summary of today's headlines first and every hour. Then I dive into the deeper items after. This allows the headline news updates every so often as viewers come into the stream. After each roll through, I will have a live poll and stream live footage of Moscow in between the news. Summaries may happen every 30 minutes to an hour, while deeper world map breakdowns may happen every 4 hours or automatically shift to any ongoing breaking news as it happens. So, the world news summary for today. The highlights. Israel strikes Hamas leaders in Qatar. Israel missiles hit Hamas officials in Doha. Saudi Arabia vows support for Qatar. U.S. role in the operation remains unclear. Israeli strikes in Doha, as mentioned before. However, there are street-level and CCTV videos that show explosions. EU, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and more condemn today's attacks in Qatar. Israel supports itself via comments. U.S. also makes comments. U.S. Embassy advises Americans to shelter in place in these areas. Poland closes the border with Belarus. Closure ahead of Russian-Belarus and Zapad drills. Rail links are also being shut down. Polish Prime Minister cites rising provocations from Moscow and Minsk. Drones are also reported from Russia into Poland as I speak. Again, Poland is reporting Russian drones in its airspace as I speak. Ukraine deploys new cruise missiles. Ukrainian-made Palencia missiles hit Russian targets. Venezuela and Iran have a collaboration call today, reinforcing the support for one another and Venezuela's sovereignty. Russia air defenses continue to fail intercept. U.S. military buildup continues in Venezuela. Secretary of Defense visits the carrier near Venezuela. MQ-9 Reaper drone spotted in Puerto Rico. Taiwan expands Coast Guard fleet, adds 1,000-ton patrol cutter with a rocket system. For a deeper dive into the geopolitical implications, tune in every couple of hours while we go through the headlines deeper dive. In addition, feel free to comment and make your voice known via the poll in between. So now we're going to go ahead and get into the deep dive. So starting with Belarus. By decision of Prime Minister Donald Tusk, due to the threat posed by the Belarusian Russians' Zapad maneuvers, the border of Belarus will be closed overnight from Thursday to Friday. The closure of the border with Belarus will be temporary. The decision to reopen will be made only when we are certain that we are safe. Brussels, the European Union wants to train the Ukrainian armed forces directly in Ukraine and is preparing 2 million artillery shells. Moving on to Ukraine, Russia launched 84 Shahed-type drones overnight. That's according to the Ukrainian Air Forces. Moving on to the Gaza Strip, 45 dead due to fire and raids in various areas of the Gaza Strip since dawn this morning. Continuing in the Gaza, as part of Israeli army operations in the northern Gaza Strip, a short time ago, lightning bombs were launched into the air, which are clearly visible in many communities in the encirclement. Moving on to some EU comments. Airstrikes against Hamas leaders in Doha threatens further escalation of violence in the region. Continuing with Israel, the president Israel's attack on the Hamas negotiating team has revealed that the desperate Netanyahu government aims to deepen conflict and instability. Moving on to Iran, the UN nuclear watchdog says it has reached an agreement with Iran on the practical modalities to resume inspection and activities in Iran, which were halted following the Israeli and U.S. airstrikes on the Iranian atomic facilities in this past June. Qatar denies. White House claims U.S. informed Doha about Israeli strikes before they took place, indicated by Qatar's foreign ministry. a spokesperson. The White House also said Israel informed us through the U.S. military that Israel attacking Hamas in Qatar. A unilateral attack by Qatar does not advance the goals of Israel and the U.S., but eliminate Hamas leaders is a worthy goal. President Trump ordered the Qatari leadership to be immediately informed and feels bad about the location of the attack. The White House. Trump spoke with the Emir of Qatar and assured him that such attacks will not occur in the future. Spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Qatar. The circulating statements that the state of Qatar was informed of the attack in advance are not true. The call that came from an American official came during the sound of explosions resulting from this attack in Doha today. Israeli attacks in Doha. Hamas announces 5 deaths and continues to maintain its demands despite the attack. Early warning. This is a home front command flash that occurred at 20:04 today. Following the detection of launches in the coming minutes, alerts are expected to be received in the areas of Judea, Samaria, the southern Negev, Jerusalem, the Judean lowlands, the Dead Sea, and the Archon. The Shephelah, joint statement by Netanyahu and Katz. Following yesterday's attack in Jerusalem and Gaza, Netanyahu instructs all security forces prepared to assassinate Hamas leaders, and Defense Minister Katz supported the decision. Turkish foreign minister makes comments. The Israeli attack in Qatar shows that Israel does not want peace, but rather the continuation of the war. Israel's U.S. envoy, we targeted Hamas leaders who planned October 7th. Israeli Prime Minister's office today indicates that the actions of today are or were against the top terrorist chieftains of Hamas was a wholly independent Israeli operation. Israel initiated it, Israel conducted it, and Israel takes full responsibility. Jerusalem Post today. More than 10 Israeli fighter jets participated in this airstrike on the Hamas meeting in Doha. The Israeli army spokesman announced that the name of this operation targeting Hamas leadership was called the Summit of Fire. The Saudi Foreign Ministry, the kingdom calls on the international community to condemn the attack and stop Israeli violations that undermine the stability of the region. Kuwaiti Foreign Ministry also has some input, saying the brutal Israeli aggression against the state of Qatar is a flagrant violation of international laws and norms. Meanwhile, in Venezuela, Maduro accuses Puerto Rico's government of joining the military plan against Venezuela. Maduro called the U.S. threat outlandish and makes no sense. Iranian president and the Venezuelan president spoke this evening, reaffirming their alliance against the U.S., mainly focusing on the support for one another and especially as it relates to the sovereignty of Venezuela. So if you like content such as this, consider liking the stream, leave comments, or subscribe to the channel. We also solely do this through donations here and on Patreon. Patreon donation link is in the description of the channel below. Your help and support helps us grow. I will consider and keep trying to live stream daily to provide these in-between news summaries and daily global deep dives from 5 p.m. to midnight. Your support and help and assistance and feedback and thoughts as it relates to today's happenings are important to me to see and hear. Also provide feedback, which will help me in between live streams and in between pre-recordings on items that you would like to see. So without further ado, this is Caffeine News, September 9th, 2025. That's all for now. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye for now. Over and out.